Blessed children of God, torch bearers of the presence, and light bearers, we salute you. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening wherever you are in the Philippines and the world. Welcome to our webinar session on the four lower bodies of the mighty I Am Presence, mastering your thoughts and feelings under the auspices of the torch bearers of the Presence Philippines, in coordination with the Temple of the Presence in Tucson, Arizona, USA. This is part of the series of webinars on the introduction to the teachings of the Ascended Masters, entitled Ecce Deus, Behold the God-Realized Man. I am your facilitator for this session. It is not by accident that you are brought to this gathering to witness, perhaps for the first time, the earth-shaking teachings of the Ascended Masters on the truth of your identity as sons and daughters of God, woven into the story of the Godhead Charioteers, your story through the ages. Our agenda for today is fivefold. 1. The I Am Presence as Godhead Charioteer, taking dominion over forces of light and life. 2. The mighty I Am Presence and its vehicles. 3. The four lower bodies. 4. God control of thoughts and feelings. And 5. Decrees and prayers. We will contextualize our session in the series, Ecce Deus, Behold the God-Realized Man. The first topic was entitled Your Beloved Mighty I Am Presence and its Electronic Body. Its key message is this: God individualized as your mighty I Am Presence in action. The second topic, entitled The Causal Body of Your Mighty I Am Presence, centered around the key message that your causal body is the eternal treasure house for your positive achievements and good karma. The third topic was entitled The Holy Christ Presence of Your Mighty I Am Presence. It revolved around the key message that your Holy Christ Presence directs the light of your God Presence into your outer vehicles. The fourth topic, entitled The Threefold Flame, the Heart of God, emphasized the message that your heart's threefold flame is the very heart of your God Presence. This fifth topic, entitled The Four Lower Bodies, Mastering Thoughts and Feelings, will center around the truth that your four lower bodies are God's vehicles of consciousness in the lower realms. The next session, the sixth topic entitled Karma and Reincarnation, will teach you that karma and reincarnation are to be overcome using spiritual tools as taught by the Ascended Masters. And finally, the closing and seventh topic entitled The Violet Flame and the Path to the Ascension, will introduce you to the fact that God's gift of the violet flame is key to transmuting karma and winning the ascension. That, in a nutshell, is the thread of the messages running through the series Ecce Deus, Behold the God-Realized Man. We begin with a framework for understanding this session, and for that matter, the entire webinar series. It is the point of cosmic law that everything lives, moves, and have their being in God. The first realization emanating from this cosmic law is this: the realm of eternal being is where the Godhead, a generic term referring to God at the highest level, also known as the God of very gods, the One, the Good, the One Presence, the Great I Am, the I Am that I Am, subsumes all divine qualities into one supreme spiritual singularity that operates as the fountainhead source of all creation. In this realm of eternal being, otherwise known as the Great Central Sun, the perfection of the Great I Am and its limitless individualized I Am presences, are complete and changeless. Emanating from the realms of eternal being are the realms of coming to be, also known as the realms of creation. In these realms, each mighty I Am presence unfolds its destiny as a complete replica of the Great I Am. It operates on the universal forces of light, life, and love in the different sub-realms: Nirvanic realm where the causal body resides, Buddhic realm where the Holy Christ Presence resides, mental plane where the memory and mental bodies vibrate, emotional plane where the emotional body vibrates, and the physical plane where the etheric double and physical body reside. Another point of cosmic law is this: God is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. The principle of God's omnipresence indicates that all realms coexist at all points, and that they are integrated with and controlled by the mighty I Am Presence via its threefold flame, which is simultaneously active in all realms. How the individual experiences each plane in the outer waking consciousness depends on the type of mind that is active, which ideally should be the Christ mind, which maintains conscious connection with the I Am Presence while overshadowing the four lower bodies. When the lower self embraces the Christ mind, the Christ Presence is able to direct the light rays of the I Am Presence into personal and world affairs. Absent the communion with the I Am Presence as the source of perfection and abundance, the outer self with its carnal mind is forced to toil by the sweat of its brow, and to compete with others for survival and control of whatever outside resources are available. This is a painting of the Godhead Charioteer, commissioned by beloved Alpha himself, as a teaching tool for sons and daughters of God to remember their journey into the realms of creation and their destined return to the Great Central Sun and the victory of the Ascension. This is our story as individualized mighty I Am presences working out our ascension through the ages. Upon stepping forth from the Great Central Sun, Each I Am Presence first navigates the 7 spheres of the great causal body of the great central sun to accumulate mastery in the cosmic light forces, or the 7 rays of God consciousness, as well as the cosmic life force of Akasha or Nirvana. Next, the I Am Presence descends into the Buddhic realm and builds its Holy Christ Presence, also known as the higher mental body, to navigate and master the Buddhic web and the cosmic life force of air. Thereafter, the I Am Presence projects its threefold flame into the lower realms of the mental plane, where it builds its memory body and mental body, then the emotional or astral plane where it builds the emotional body, and finally the physical plane, where it builds first the etheric double composed of finer physical matter, followed by the gross physical body. These lower bodies are represented in the painting as the 4 wild horses, symbolic of the life forces of the pranic breath of fire in the case of the memory and mental bodies, the pranic breath of water in the case of the emotional body, and the pranic breath of earth in the case of the etheric double and physical body. The I Am Presence and its Holy Christ Presence, in the role of Godhead Charioteer, incarnates into the schoolroom of earth, over and over again, to train these horses and make them responsive and obedient to the Christ mind. At the successful completion of this training, together with the balancing of karma and the fulfillment of our life mission, we attain our victory of the ascension and return to the great central sun as ascended masters. This is a tabular depiction of the 7 bodies built by each mighty I Am Presence as illustrated in the Portrait of the Presence, which is another painting commissioned by beloved Alpha. Enumerated are the different bodies operating in their corresponding universal realms or planes, namely, the electronic body in the great central sun, the causal body in the nirvanic realm, the Holy Christ Presence in the Buddhic or Christic realm, the memory body and mental body in the mental plane, the emotional body in the emotional realm, and the physical body in the physical plane. Notice that the electronic body operates in the realm of eternal being, while the rest of the bodies are in the realms of coming to be or creation. This is a diagrammatic reiteration of the relation of the 7 vehicles or bodies of the mighty I Am Presence and the universal forces of life, the realms of creation and the Christ virtues predominant in those realms. The critical points to remember are: 1. The Godhead Charioteer operates creation through its own threefold flame ensouling the cosmic life forces of the 5 pranic breaths, and wielding the universal light forces of the 7 rays. 2. The threefold flame through the life currents can speak to, command, and control the universal forces of nature. 3. When we qualify life by our thoughts and feelings, the universal outpourings of God, as forces of light and life, respond automatically, instantaneously, and impersonally. This is a depiction of the 4 lower bodies as wild stallions that need to be trained and disciplined by our Christ mind. This teaching was already known as early as the Hindu epic Mahabharata, where Lord Krishna guided the disciple Arjuna. In this painting, the 4 wild, rambunctious horses represent the untamed elemental forces of nature as they typically behave in the 4 lower bodies of an average person. The bodies have their own elemental urges, and they do what creatures normally do, and they lurch wherever the impulses of the moment might take them. Our goal is to have those 4 horses galvanized in perfect alignment and obedience, under the God control of the threefold flame of the heart, not running away with the reins. The 4 lower bodies are the temple of the Most High Living God. They are the vehicles of the mighty I Am Presence in this outer world and are intended to outpicture and express the God consciousness and perfection of the Presence. The divine plan is for the full overshadowing of the Holy Christ Presence in these outer vehicles. To be a clear chalice, receptive to the thoughts, feelings, and impulses of the mighty I Am Presence. To be like instruments played upon by the Presence. And, to come under the God control of the heart flame. This diagram summarizes the environment of the 4 lower bodies with respect to the planetary cosmic forces. Our physical sun is the center of the Buddhic plane, which is home to the Holy Christ Presence. The boundary of the mental plane is defined by the moon's orbit around the earth. It is where psychics entities and the thoughts of mankind abide. The emotional or astral plane is estimated to extend from Earth's sea level up to 70,000 feet. The accumulation of mankind's negative and dark emotional energies pollute this atmosphere, much like fogs and smogs cloud our polluted cities. Unprotected mankind are literally swimming in this astral effluvia, rendering them vulnerable to riptides of thoughts and feelings. Our memory body has the following purpose and characteristics. 1. It is designed for mastering attunement, intuition, and the faculty of paying attention. 2. It carries over from one embodiment to another, while the other vehicles are newly created with each incarnation. 3. It is intended to be a clear chalice and reflection of the causal body. 4. It is sometimes referred to as the soul, a pseudo-identity formed by discordant overlays of karma, thus creating a separate sense of self. 5. It is the storage for all negative karmic records and momentums from previous embodiments. All positive momentums, blessings and good karma rise into the causal body. And 6. If not transmuted or arrested, the negative karmic momentums released from the memory body little by little daily into the other lower vehicles may result in accident, disease, distress, and all manner of mortal conditions. The purpose and characteristics of the mental body are: 1. It is for mastering concrete thought, imaging, and vision, especially the ability to visualize three-dimensional forms. 2. It is intended to respond to the divine mind of God, adopting divine ideas and inspiration, and following the divine directions from the Christ presence and the golden plume of the threefold flame. And 3. When not illumined by the Christ mind, the mental body constructs an outer world view, called by St. Paul as the carnal mind. The emotional body has the following purpose and traits. 1. It is for mastering divine desire. 2. It is intended to radiate the pink plume of the threefold flame as divine desire and the God qualities of the mighty I Am presence. 3. It is the storehouse of energy and motion, or emotion, thus making it a very powerful vehicle. The victory of many initiations is often won by mastery in the feeling world. And 4. We should strive to develop God control over this vehicle by regular decreeing for God mastery of the feeling body, page 14 of TOP Decree Book. The purpose and characteristics of the physical body are: 1. It is for mastering will, volition, and action. 2. It is intended to express the blue plume of the power and will of the threefold flame. 3. It is the densest of the vehicles of the presence, but also intended to radiate the light of the presence. And 5th, the finer portion of the physical body is known as the etheric double. This etheric double is key to the healing of physical illnesses, which first manifest as energy disruptions or blockages in the etheric double. The spiritual centers or chakras intersect with the etheric double for the transference of spiritual energy into the body organs. Here, we begin to enumerate interesting and useful facts or trivia about the four lower bodies. First, an incarnation ends when the I Am presence determines there is no further use for the outer vehicles, then it withdraws crystal cord and threefold flame from the four lower bodies. Second, after death, the etheric double disintegrates within 48 hours. The emotional body lingers for 40 days, normally hovering in places it is addicted to. The mental body indulges its devachan fantasies until the mental substance is fully spent. The memory body remains intact but inactive between embodiments. When sufficiently enlightened, the soul or memory body is taken for training to the retreats of the Ascended Masters or to the conclaves of the Temple of the Presence in Tucson, USA. The anointed representative Carolyn Shearer sometimes shares her observations when souls in transition attend the dictations of the Ascended Masters with their angel escorts. You might ask, if the memory body remains intact embodiment after embodiment, why is it we do not remember our past lives? The answer is: by mercy of the law, a veil of forgetfulness is shrouded over the memory body to allow a fresh start for the embodied life stream. The records of negative karma that need to be balanced are released little by little beginning age 7. Remember, Jesus said, "Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof, as above, so below." This tenet of metaphysics, which mirrors the principle of fractals or holograms, indicates that the four lower bodies were designed to replicate the perfection of heaven or the great central sun and the nirvanic and Buddhic realms. Perfection in the physical plane is part of divine design. Before the fall from grace, when man decided to separate his consciousness from God, his crystal cord was as thick as the tube of light. His threefold flame enveloped his form, allowing the light of God to cascade into massive feats of creativity and a long lifespan of 1,000 years or more. However, to prevent more horrendous karma creation after the fall, cosmic law reduced man's crystal cord to a thin thread just sufficient to sustain life. The threefold flame was reduced in size to a mere spark the size of 1/16 of an inch. His average lifespan was reduced to 70, or 70 years. And man was obliged to eke out his survival and sustenance by the sweat of his brow. Recent breakthroughs in neuroscience reveal the magnificent design of the human brain as a dynamic feedback mechanism for internal creation to outpicture in the external world. It has been established that objects and events in one's external world have their counterpart synaptic structures in the brain. The stronger the synapses, the greater the reality. New studies in heart and brain coherence, by neuroscientist Dr. Joe Dispenza and the HeartMath Institute, are demonstrating how conscious cultivation of high-frequency elevated feelings of love and gratitude allow meditators to connect with the quantum field of the mind of the universal source, and draw forth divine energy for instant healing and wholeness and for becoming supernatural. The human body is naturally designed to heal itself. Its activities are directed either for growth or for survival, which is the fight or flight syndrome. An imbalance between the two activities disrupts the body's health. When in growth mode, healing and wholeness are naturally achieved. The body produces its own natural pharmacy to treat illness. In survival mode arising from perception of threats, the body releases stress hormones and diverts blood supply from the inner organs to the physical extremities to execute fight or flight response. Short-term stress may be tolerated, but when indulged for prolonged periods, even when the threat no longer exists, this results in deterioration of organs, which are deprived of normal blood flow because each replenishment for dying protein molecules is produced from downgraded copies of DNA. Now, let us tackle the tough job of mastering the four lower bodies. But first, we must remember that it is through the threefold flame of the heart that the I Am Presence takes dominion over the outer realms and the four lower bodies. Second, the threefold flame is the seat of authority for the four lower bodies, and takes lawful dominion when these bodies are stilled. It moves through these bodies like air inflating a balloon. Third, the heart flame acts as atomic accelerator for the four lower bodies. And fourth, the crystal cord comes down from the heart of the electronic body, integrates the flow of life, and enables the threefold flame in each body to act as one with the heart of the electronic body.
So if you pay attention to the teachings of the Ascended Masters very clearly, you will meditate on this concept that in this higher mental body, the individualized intelligence of the I Am Presence is able to step down the omnipotence of the I Am Presence and the power of the light to a degree that can safely shine its illumination into the formative levels of the four lower bodies, sweep those four lower bodies, register like a good physician what is going on that needs correcting in those bodies, and then reach into the I Am Presence and draw forth the solution that is needed for every condition.
The four lower bodies are to be a grail chalice as the presence radiates its God qualities through the outer waking conscious awareness. The path of the ascension requires training the outer vehicles so they do not feed into, reflect, or recreate negative appearances that are in the outer world. The pure and perfect God life entrusted to us along the crystal cord is seized upon by our mental and emotional bodies, making them very powerful. Therefore, what we think and feel by qualifying that light, we create and magnetize into our world. This should prod us to, as far as possible, monitor our every thought, feeling, and action. As the Godhead charioteers, we should snap the golden reins of divine authority and God control to bring our lower bodies into rapt polarization with the presence. We can do this by deciding what our feelings are going to feel and just as fast, on the instant, feel it. We say to our mind, quit revolving those ideas. Stop thinking those thoughts. And replace all negative thoughts and feelings with counterparts of perfection. When our vehicles are reined in through God control, the presence can lower greater and greater amounts of power and light into our world. This is a reading of an excerpt from beloved Paul the Venetian, the Chohan or Lord of God's third ray of love, taken from his dictation The Greatest of All Loves, on August 6, 2017. To quote, "For the attainment and mastery to be garnered, there must be a conscious awareness in your outer vehicles that is truly engaging with the light of God, and the momentum of God. To achieve this mastery requires far more than merely a suggestion to your outer vehicles, that they ought to be disciplined. It must be the Christ command, not in reaction to outer circumstances, but because your own mighty I Am Presence as the flame upon the altar of your heart commands it so. And you obey. Now we engage the power of the spoken word, through the throat chakra, and the creative power of the I Am name of God, to do His work in taking God control of our lower bodies, just as God commanded us. Concerning the works of my hand, command ye me.